Welcome, everyone. Greetings from Greece. I'm Rania Papadopoulou, a human rights expert, and I am honored to moderate this discussion today. Our title is Climate Crisis in Southeastern Europe, Greece the Next Day. I'm joined by two great experts, Ms. Theodora Vounidi, a Balkaniologist and co-founder of Balkan Youth Cooperation, and Ms. Elena Darvis-Tabar, political scientist in international relations. Good morning.
Everyone. Kalimera, good morning.
So, climate crisis is a challenge that knows no borders, respects no privilege, and spares no one. Scenes that we used to watch only in sci-fi movies are now part of the news programs, part of our daily lives. Greece, as most of the Mediterranean countries, faced the summer in flames, an unprecedented area of land burned along with people, animals, forests, and properties. After such a ruinous summer, we faced an extreme storm a few days ago, which cost the life of innocent people and put numerous villages underwater for several days. In a few months, we understood that the breathtaking landscapes and the vibrant culture of our country are at risk, just like all the other landscapes, cultures, and monuments around the world. The new norm is characterizing by rising temperatures, prolonged droughts, and extreme weather phenomena. Have we recognized the urgency of the condition? Yes, we have. Are we doing enough to protect our country, our properties, our lifestyle, our life? No, we are not. The winds of change blow fiercely, and we only have one choice: change to survive. To achieve sustainability and resilience is not easy. Fair green and digital transition should become top priority and driving force for every government. Economy, education, domestic developments, everything needs to be characterized by this transition. At the same time, we must shield our communities, our homes, by operating proactively and building strong civil protection systems. A great example is 112 Alert, which has saved unmeasurable lives, not only in Greece, but globally as well. The tools are here. Greece has had a very concrete and effective national climate law adopted last year. We also have a national action plan for energy and climate. What we lack, though, is brave actions. Because on the one hand, we may have the tools, but on the other hand, we haven't fully implemented their content until now. Of course, you cannot do a lot in a year, especially in a country like ours, which faces tremendous bureaucratic issues and great delays. Unfortunately, though, no time can be spared. The clock is ticking, and more catastrophic phenomena will make their appearance in our region, causing serious consequences. That's why collective action is more necessary than ever. One person, one community, one government, even one nation cannot bear the burden alone. Exchange of knowledge and good practices, international cooperation, and common dedication to the purpose are essential. Climate diplomacy is the key. Targeted policies which will promote the implementation of the green transition in order to reach the climate goals faster, not only at national levels, but at regional and international levels as well. The EU has made significant steps, but as time goes by, more challenges arose. From global conferences to the distribution of funds to third countries, the EU has a central role in combating climate crisis. Greece, following the EU's example, can play a major role in the southeastern region. The energy section is essential, and we have begun some crucial initiatives. However, the focus should be turned to other aspects as well. In our region, most of our neighbors and are not EU members, but they are aspiring to become. Greece can use climate diplomacy first and foremost to make them commit to green and digital transition, and secondly, to help them implement policies and changes which will promote their European accession. For sure, this doesn't need only the public sector on board, but the private sector, civil society, global markets, and each and every one of us to cooperate and to be determined to this goal. As we navigate to uncertain waters ahead, we need to have a common vision, a common future where our planet, our communities not only survive but thrive. Embracing change is not only a choice, it is our duty, our calling, our legacy. In our hands, we hold our future. We hold innovation, progress, technology, sustainability, resilience. In our words, we encourage inspiration, hope, determination. In our actions, we promote change. Because we are not the leaders of tomorrow, we are the leaders of today. Our voice, our ideas, and our actions have the power to move mountains. In a world that may seem complex and tired, we have the audacity to dream, to speak up for our rights, to envision a better future and fight for it. Because our dreams will not remain dreams, they are the blueprints for a better tomorrow. We have many examples. Fridays for Future, where mostly students went on strikes demanding from the adults to meaningfully protect the environment, spread to more than 150 states. During COP26, a statement by more than 40,000 young leaders was presented, not only demanding change, but also asking for young people's rights to be taken into consideration in every green transition agreement. The young people from Portugal who took 33 states to the European Court of Human Rights, accusing them of environmental violations. And so many local, regional, and national initiatives, which may seem small but are so powerful. So, the floor now to Elena, who will present the importance of tackling climate crisis in the Mediterranean region.
Hello, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates and fellow young advocates for climate action. I am deeply honored to be part of the 8th International Youth Conference for Sustainable Development Goals. Our collective presence here epitomizes the very essence of hope and formidable power of unity as we confront one of the most challenging challenges of our era, the climate crisis. The need for immediate action to combat the climate crisis is undeniable. This past summer in Greece, I witnessed one of the most destructive periods in the country's history. Unprecedented high temperatures, devastating wildfires, and severe floods serve as compelling evidence that climate change poses the most significant security threat of our time. Addressing this crisis requires a global effort involving governments, businesses, communities, and individuals. We must reduce greenhouse gas emissions, transition to renewable energy sources, and adapt to the change already occurring. My focus today is on the Mediterranean region, where Greece is part of. The Mediterranean Sea, encircled by the continents of Africa, Asia, and Europe, represents both a source of life and a hotspot of challenges. Urbanization, tourism, and the impact of human activities along its coast have imprinted indelible marks upon this dynamic region. The Mediterranean Sea is also an area of industrial development and one of the world's busiest shipping routes. Nevertheless, the very sea that has historically connected civilization is now under great threat. Rising sea levels, warming waters, and the specter of ocean acidification cast a long shadows upon its ecosystems. In this discourse, we will delve into the intricacies of how this crisis affects not only the environment, but also our societies, economies, and most importantly, the future of our planet. To better appreciate the magnitude of the challenge we face, it is essential to comprehend the profound consequences of climate change in the Mediterranean region. Intensified extreme weather events, water scarcity and drought, threats to biodiversity, agricultural disruption, economic instability, migration, and social unrest. As we contemplate these multifaceted consequences, it becomes clear that climate change is not a distant threat, but an immediate crisis on a worldwide level. The consequences of inaction are simply too serious to be ignored. Global temperatures could rise over 3 degrees Celsius, unraveling not only the Mediterranean but ecosystems worldwide. The specter of conflicts over dwindling resources, be it food, water, habitable land, looms ominously. Inaction is a luxury we cannot afford. Climate diplomacy is essential for facilitating decision-making and enabling countries to engage in negotiations that consider both their individual interests and the imperative of advancing the green transition. Therefore, it is crucial to bolster collaboration among nations to establish a functional system for providing assistance and facilitating recovery in areas impacted by these unparalleled catastrophes. To combat climate change, we must elevate our ambitions to unprecedented heights. Renewable energy investments have surged, yet this marks only the beginning. We must orchestrate a comprehensive transformation across various sectors: energy, industry, transportation, agriculture, and forestry. Our goal is not merely to limit global temperature rise, but to confine it well below the alarming thresholds of 2 degrees Celsius, or ideally 1.5. The Paris Agreement, a historic milestone, but more profound, accelerated action is imperative. The real challenge lies not in adopting these measures, but in promptly and effectively putting them into action. This is where we often encounter our greatest obstacle, not making the decision, but rather about making them a reality through implementation. Furthermore, while the European Union has been at the forefront of green transition, it is crucial to note that the largest consumers of coal in 2022 were China, India, and USA. This means that all the efforts made by the EU, which are primarily focused inward, may not lead to a significant reduction in global CO2 emissions as long as coal consumptions continue to rise, mainly in Asia. Moreover, we must call upon businesses and investors to not acknowledge their moral responsibility, but also recognize the inherent economic wisdom in reducing emissions. It is a commitment that not only aligns with our ethical obligation to the planet, but also underscores the pragmatic benefits of sustainable business practices. Within the challenges, there is hope, a hope rooted in the determination of our generation. We found ourselves at a crossroads in history, armed with the knowledge, technology, and most importantly, the collective will to effect change. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres wisely reminds us that these imbalances are not mere anomalies, but structural features of a financial system that we have the power to reshape. We are the architects of our destiny, and we possess the vision to shape a future that is not only sustainable, but also equitable. Let us embrace our responsibility and work to ensure a sustainable future for ourselves, the generations to come, and all forms of life that constitute our precious planet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elena. Before giving the floor to Theodora, I want to say greetings to Bangladesh, Liberia, Nigeria, Uganda, Pakistan, Egypt, and all the other places which I see in the comments. We are very happy that you are with us today, and this is the power that we, the young people, have in our hands now. With technology, we can work together, we can exchange opinions and ideas across the world. So now the floor to Theodora, who will explain the role of youth on combating climate crisis.
Hello, everyone. Today, I'm thrilled to talk here to you about something that's not just important. It's a global movement that's saving our world from the brink of climate crisis, and I'm talking about youth cooperation. Let me show you how it can make a profound difference, especially in Greece and Southeastern Europe in general, within the context of EU accession. So, starting from outside the region, let's head over to the Sweden, where Greta Thunberg, a teenager with a big vision, started a school strike for climate. She sat alone outside the Swedish parliament with a sign that says, "School strike for climate." What happened next? Millions of students worldwide joined her in the Fridays for Future movement. That's youth cooperation in action, inspiring global climate protection and pushing leaders to take climate action seriously. Now, let's hop over to Africa, where the Green Africa Youth Organization is turning barren lands into lush forests. They've planted millions of trees, restoring degraded ecosystems, and create jobs for local communities. It's a fantastic example of how youth cooperation isn't just about talking green, but getting our hands dirty and make a real difference. Our neighbors in South Asia are also showing us the way. The Asia Youth Climate Network, for example, is all about bringing together young activists from different countries to collaborate on climate projects. They are working on renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and advocating for climate-smart policies. That's the power of regional youth cooperation. Closer to our home here in Europe, the European Youth Forum is mobilizing youth people to demand a greener continent. They are not just protesting, they are engaging with policymakers, pushing for climate-friendly legislation, and ensuring that young voices are heard in the halls of power. Now, let's bring it back to Greece. As the girl said before, our beautiful country has faced the climate crisis head-on, with recent wildfires and floods serving as stark reminders. These events have brought to the forefront the urgent need for comprehensive actions to protect our environment and communities. In Greece, youth organizations have played a pivotal role in this critical time. We initiated local movements that raise awareness about the climate crisis, educated our communities about the importance of sustainability and resilience, by engaging with local experts and collaborating with environmental organizations. Many young organizations developed innovative solutions to protect our environment and mitigate the impact of future disasters. All of them are really important. Just like a lot of green organizations worldwide, we can also advocate for policies that promote renewable energy sources, making our energy system more resilient to climate change. And for sure, conferences like this is a good place to talk on these issues and have a place to start from. As we look at the Southeastern Europe, a region on the path of EU accession, youth cooperation becomes even more significant. It's not just about aligning with EU policies, it's about taking the lead in sustainable development. As we integrate further into European Union, demonstrating our commitment to addressing the climate crisis becomes a crucial part of the equation. In Greece and across Southeastern Europe, youth cooperation isn't just a choice, it's a necessity. It's a testament to our readiness to tackle global challenges, showcasing our determination to shape a future within the European Union that prioritizes sustainability and environmental protections. So, my fellow change makers, let's take inspiration from these global examples and adapt them to our Southeastern European contexts. Let's continue to be the driving force for climate actions and sustainable development, both regionally and within the European Union. Because together, we are not just dreaming of a better world, we are making it a reality. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Theodora. I would like to thank the people who are watching us as well for your kind comments. More countries are entering the chat and more continents as well. It's very inspirational that we all share a common vision. We all share the need for change and the willingness to change, because saying big words and making announcements is not what we need right now. I think we need to really move to brave changes. So, Theodora, I would like to ask you a few questions. How can youth cooperation specifically help Greece and Southeastern Europe adapt to the climate crisis in the context of the EU accession?
Okay, so in Southeastern Europe, we have two categories of countries. The one, they already are in European Union, so they should try to be to align with the EU standards within the European Union. And the other category is the countries that are accessing now the EU, so they should adapt the EU chapters in order to join the EU. Youth cooperation in Greece and furthermore in the Southeastern European countries that are not in EU can facilitate the sharing of knowledge, expertise, and the best practices among young leaders in the region. This exchange of ideas can lead to a development of regionally tailored strategies for climate adaptation, aligning with EU standards and demonstrating our commitment to sustainable development as the country's process towards the EU accession.
And now I have one more question before going to Elena. What are some practical steps that Greek youth organizations can take to address the climate crisis and promote environmental resilience after the recent wildfires and floods? Because again, actions are what matter. So let's be more practical rather than theoretical.
Okay. Generally, Greek green organizations from the very beginning and even before the wildfires and floods in Greece, starting by organizing community workshops and awareness campaigns to educate the locals about the climate change and sustainable practices. As you said in your speech before, we never listened to them. Youth organizations now can collaborate with environmental experts and organizations. We have a lot of youth organizations, and we have the know-how in making community work. So this can help devise practical solutions such as reforestation projects, cleanup initiatives, and advocating for policies that prioritize climate resilience and disaster preparedness. These efforts can play a significant role in building a more sustainable and resilient future for our country. But now, after the wildfires and floods, these initiatives must be even more intensive. And for sure, they are urgent.
Indeed, especially if taking into consideration a new broadcast alert that came yesterday, again warning for new floods, etc., and new extreme weather conditions. So now moving to Elena, your speech was very inspirational, and I would like to ask you, according to your opinion, which are the most crucial consequences of climate change in the Mediterranean region?
Thank you very much. To begin with, as I have already said to my speech, the Mediterranean is currently in crisis because of the climate change, and we must act immediately because the consequences in climate change face many different aspects. To begin with, agriculture is a backbone of the Mediterranean economy, but it faces substantial threat right now. Changing rainfall patterns, prolonged droughts, and escalating temperatures impede yields, endanger food security, and risk plunging communities reliant on agriculture into economic hardship. So we can understand that also the agricultural disruption may affect in general the economic stability of the region. Climate change poses so an insidious threat to the stability in Mediterranean economies, particularly those heavily reliant not only to agriculture but also to tourism. As extreme weather events become more frequent, the tourism sector suffers from damage to infrastructure and decrease in visitor numbers, resulting in substantial economic losses and widespread job insecurity. Not to mention, but one of the most important also aspects of the climate crisis in general in the world, but right now we are concentrating in Mediterranean, is the migration and the social unrest that is occurred by this crisis. The climate change is forcing many people to leave their homeland in order to find a better place, to have the essential and to have a life into dignity and with opportunities for their everyday life. So I believe that these are just three of the most important aspects that this planet is facing and that we should deal with immediately.
Yes, because on the one hand, we call it climate crisis, but on the other hand, it's a combination of so many parallel crises. We will face economic crisis if we don't find alternative ways to deal with the losses of the extreme weather conditions. We have the migrant and refugee crisis, which again grows bigger in the borders of the Mediterranean region. So if we choose to keep putting the solutions under the carpet, we will have to deal with unprecedented problems at the same time. I don't know, what
Yes,
do you think?
I totally agree, because we should not forget that the problem of the climate change is been known and announced by the scientists for decades now. But we thought like this is a problem so distant from us that it's only concerned to the animals or the trees or something super specific, and we didn't realize that it is super connected with our existence and the way of living.
Exactly, because if you're a country which, for example, like Greece, like our country, focus a big part of its economy on tourism, and suddenly weather conditions on May and June and September are not like they used to be back in 2000, and you have rain and floods and etc. Tourists won't come to you, and your economy will face a huge issue in the near future.
Mhm. And also, it is a domino effect that concerns all, not only the neighbor countries, but for instance, Pakistan, that is also facing severe floods in their villages, or the high temperatures in Africa that are rising every year, and maybe in the near future, many people should leave their countries in order to find another place. So, a whole movement. We're going to face even more movement in order to find better weather conditions in order to have a normal life.
And I want to go back in what Rania said before. Even one nation alone can't make the difference. For example, in the region, we had in the same time wildfires or floods in Bulgaria, Turkey, and Greece. But we never cooperate, like create a cooperation, like something to save ourselves from these consequences of the climate crisis. So I think cooperation, not just the youth cooperation, but even the nation cooperation or whatever, it's also important.
Exactly, and especially between countries which face the same issues. For example, Mediterranean region or Southeastern region, or I don't know, South, North Africa, and West Asia, etc.
And it is also important to be said that these countries that they are now facing the most severe extreme weather challenges are not even the ones that have occurred and have played the central role in this climate crisis. So it is important to mention that bigger states that have the all the means to transform their economy, their infrastructure, their businesses, should give and lead the example to the smaller ones.
And of course, cooperation is needed not only between young people, between us, but between all the generations, because of course, climate crisis is an issue that mostly affects our generation and the next generations that will come. But okay, now at decision-making places and high-level positions are mostly people older than us. So we need to find a way to work together. They have to listen to us, and we need to use their wisdom in order to move forward. I mean, we don't need to divide to create a gap. We are the new generation. You are the older ones. We won't cooperate. We need to create strong bonds to move forward together. So if I don't know, the people who are watching us, who keep writing very nice comments, don't have any questions to make. I don't see. I see they are saying we have many people we have from Georgia, from Ghana. They all say change, change, change is the key. Okay, I see. Okay, so Chad, from Chad, we have people from Chad. So let's move to our closing remarks. Theodora, would you like to begin?
Of course. So, as we conclude this discussion, I want you to keep in mind just a few things. Youth cooperation is our most potent weapon against climate crisis. Today, we have seen the impact of young leaders worldwide, and we know our region, Southeastern Europe, is not exception. Across the region, we have the opportunity to lead by example, not just for EU accession or EU progress, but for the sake of our environment and our future generations. Let's take the inspiration from today and turn it into action for tomorrow. Our collective power knows no bounds. Let's stand together, drive change, and create a more sustainable world. Thank you all for being part of this today.
Thank you. Elena, the floor is yours.
Yes, to conclude my speech, climate change isn't just an environmental issue. It's a matter of global security and stability. Its consequences can worsen existing conflicts, displace populations, and strain resources, leading to humanitarian crisis and instability. To safeguard our planet and ensure a better future, we must all adopt sustainable practices, advocate for environmentally responsible policies, and hold leaders accountable for taking meaningful action. The era of inaction has passed, and we must act urgently and collectively. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I would also like to thank the International Youth Conference team for giving us a chance to have this discussion today, this important discussion to present the situation in Greece and get inspired by what we discussed today. And I just want to say that when in doubt, remember that every great movement in history began with a single decision for change, with someone who dared to dream, who dared to try to fight for a goal. And yes, now we are ready to fight for humanity, for our lives, for our future. We cannot do it alone. As we said, we need decision makers and stakeholders by our side. They need us by their side as well, because only united can we freeze or reverse the climate instability caused by climate change. So I'm begging you to embrace your role as change makers. Never apologize for your passion. Never stop fighting for the causes that matter to you. And never doubt the impact you can have on the lives of other people. It's not an easy road, but we're not alone. We have each other, and together we can create a path that unfolds our true capabilities. Now it's time for change. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for
Thank,
being with us. Thank you, ladies, for the great
Thank
discussion.
you.
thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Bye.